And last for the letter F, how do they improve their teaching and learning in the classroom? For Ma'am Carleya, teaching active listening when teachers model good listening skills, they not only set a good example, they place importance on students' voices, reminding students to look at the speaker and providing opportunities to practice restating and ask clarifying questions will help students to develop this skill so critical for learning and for life. For Ma'am Aya, training substitute teachers in research-based instructional strategies and effective classroom management, creating classroom experience that reinforce substitutes knowledge and builds both confidence and skills, establishing managerial relationships that support effective practice and motivate continuous improvement, providing ongoing coursework that improves skills and creates opportunities for professional growth. Letter E. How they prepare for their IMs or instructional materials. For Ma'am Carleya, instruction is a critical component of any educational endeavor. Your learning objectives guide what students will do, and your assessments measure their progress along the way. But it's your instruction that shapes the journey. It's the material students engage with to be better themselves, meet their goals, and ultimately succeed in your course. In the online environment, this can take multiple forms: written ebooks, video lectures, and interactive lessons, and more. When we talk about instruction, we're referring to any course element students use as a vehicle to move from unfamiliarity to familiarity. For Ma'am Aya, whatever form your instructional materials take, it's critical that they engage your students. In the face-to-face classroom, observing engagement is easy. Your students are viewing your lecture, taking notes, or showing other signs of attentiveness, but that isn't always the case online. Online, you can see your students, meaning it's important to structure your materials in a way that's likely to keep their attention. While your assessments will ultimately show how well students have paid attention to the instructional material, by shaping your materials in a way that sets them up to succeed, you maximize the chances they'll do what they need to successfully master your learning objects. With that in mind, this article will outline a number of strategies you can employ to maximize the efficacy of the learning materials you use in your online course. Letter D. Do they implement new curriculum too? For Ma'am Carlia, the demand for knowledge changes. The biggest reason for a change in education based on the demand for knowledge lies in the fact that the world around us is always changing. The past century has seen unprecedented changes that have caused even more change at the classroom level. For example, we now think globally instead of locally. That shifts the way we process information because we know so much more about other cultures and countries than in times past. In the past, people read about the other countries and cultures. Now we see them firsthand on TV, internet, books, magazine, and social media at the very least. We are so immersed in other cultures globally and it automatically affects how we receive education. And for Ma'am Aya, technologically advances curriculum needs to change because the technology advances that have occurred outside of the classroom have a huge impact on what happens inside the classroom. The way we all do things now compared to even a decade ago is so drastically different. We generally don't realize how much technology impacts almost every area of our lives. Technology has always been a part of the classroom. It is just that in the past century, technology has increased exponentially. This has made it look like a totally different issue in the classroom. And indeed, The super fast progression of technology has greatly affected the current day classroom. Letter C. Do they modify or adjust activities according to the learner's needs? For Ma'am Garlia, modifying instructional strategies, materials, and tools to meet individual needs because every student with a disability has complex and unique needs. The strategies and tools of instruction must be constantly modified so that each student can succeed at learning. For Ma'am Aya, teachers use various methods to meet the needs of all students, including those who struggle. Some methods include slowing down or speeding up the pace of the work for individual students within a classroom. Other methods include using props such as charts and pictures to show students what they are expected to. And for Ma'am Aya, it is also important to realize that the best planned lesson is worthless if interesting delivery procedures, along with good classroom management techniques, are not in evidence. There is a large body of research available pertaining to a lesson development and delivery and the significance of classroom management. They are skills that must be researched, structured to your individual style, implemented in a teacher or learning situation, and constantly evaluated and revamped when necessary. Consistency is the most utmost importance in the implementation of a classroom management. Letter B. Do they implement what is planned for their lessons? For Ma'am Carleia, good lesson planning is essential to the process of teaching and learning. A teacher who is prepared is well on his or her way to a successful instructional experience. The development of interesting lessons take a great deal of time and effort. As a new teacher, you must be committed to spending the necessary time in this and for the response of Ma'am Aya, make communication arrangements early on. The one of the most important aspects of a successful school year is effective teacher-parent communication. Well, before the new school year begins, teachers should consider their options of communicating with parents and then make arrangements accordingly. Nowadays, there are several different apps that allow teacher and parents to communicate quickly and easily. Email is also an efficient choice from prompt yet discreet communication. Whatever method teachers choose, they should make it a point to send out a teacher introduction letter informing parents of these preferred communication methods so that everyone is on the same page from the get-go. If parents know that their children's teacher are serious about staying in touch, they should feel more comfortable doing so, making effective communication between all parties easier to as teachers prepare for their lessons throughout the school year. For Ma'am Carleia, revisit old lesson plans. In order to be better prepared for the new school year, teachers should revisit and revise previous lesson plans in every subject if possible. They can prevent outdated learning approaches from being carried over into the next school year by reviewing previous lessons. For example, a middle school life science unit that previously included several lectures could be taught more thoroughly with the assistance of supplemental online science lessons. Prepare for their lessons through the school year. For Ma'am Carleia, revisit all the lesson plans. Hindi ka makataltal na.